Seeking refuge down at Wick had not been a viable alternative either. There was no respite from what ailed him there. The very opulence of the vast estate only served as a painful reminder of the injustice that had been perpetrated so that he could inherit it all. Paris had seemed like the perfect solution. Since Bonaparte had abdicated, it had become extremely fashionable to hop across the Channel to see the sights. Leaning one arm on the mantelpiece, he remarked with an eloquent shudder, "I will never complain of that particular malady again, I do assure you." "What is it?" Coningsby asked. "What else has happened?" "Another murder." "Du Mauriac again, I take it?" Coningsby's face was grim. The French officer was gaining a reputation for provoking hot-headed young Englishmen to duel with him, and dispatching them with a ruthless efficiency gleaned from his years of active service. And then celebrating his kill by breakfasting on broiled kidneys at Tortoni's. "Who was it this morning? Not anybody we know, I hope." "On the contrary. The poor fellow he slaughtered before breakfast today was a subaltern by the name of Lennox." At Coningsby's frown, Charles explained, "Oh, there's no reason why you should know him. He was typical of all the others who have fallen by that butcher's sword, an obscure young man with no powerful connections." "Then how—" "He served in the same regiment as my unfortunate half-brother. He was one of those young men who constantly paraded through my London house, attempting to rouse him to some semblance of normality. Sometimes it seemed as if an entire regiment must have marched through his hall at one time or another to visit the poor wreck of a man who had once been a valiant soldier. Though few of them paid a second visit after encountering his blistering rejection. Captain Fawley did not want to be an object of pity. Pity. If only he knew. If he, the 9th Earl, had been injured so badly, there would be not one well-wisher hastening to his bedside in an attempt to cheer him. On the contrary, it would be vultures who would begin to hover, eager to see who among them would gain his title, his wealth. At least he was a soldier then. He never stood a chance against a man of Du Mauriac's stamp, and the blackguard knew it. He sat there laughing about the fact that the boy didn't look as though he needed to shave more than once a week. And he sneered at his milk-white countenance as he faced him. God, the boy must have been sick with fright. Charles smote one fist into his palm. If only Lennox had asked me to be his second, I would have found a way to stop it. Coningsby eyed him with surprise. The only thing he had known about the Earl before his arrival in Paris was that, upon coming of age, he had caused a ripple through society by ousting his guardians from his ancestral home and subsequently severing all connections with that branch of his family. He had not known of a single man who dared claim friendship with the chillingly insular young lord. In Coningsby's capacity as a junior aide at the English embassy, he had dutifully helped him to find these lodgings in the Rue de Richelieu and generally smoothed his entry into the social scene. It had been quite a surprise the previous night, when the Earl had reacted as any man might, on discovering the beautiful Parisienne to whom he had just proposed had run off with her lover. He had gone straight home to drown his sorrows, though his head had proved stronger than Coningsby's. "Couldn't have backed down, though, could he?" he ventured sympathetically. "Wouldn't have wanted to live with an accusation of cowardice hanging round his neck." "Somebody should have found some way to save Lennox," the Earl persisted. "If only—" He was prevented from saying anything further when the butler opened the door. "There is a visitor for you, my lord." "I'm not receiving," Charles growled. Giddings cleared his throat and eyed Coningsby warily before saying diffidently, "The young person insists you would wish to see her."